Hello, Dr. Chukwuma. Okay, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I'm so honored, and I hope this podcast you're gonna have fun because I have fun each time I start recording it. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I am from DC.
Oh,
Um, I'm Imo State. I went to boarding school in Nigeria, where I did secondary school, um, along with some time I spent at Michigan State University, and also I got my doctorate at Howard. Um,
okay.
and then I worked with the Washington Redskins and Miami Dolphins as well as an athletic trainer.
Oh, that's awesome. You're definitely smart. So, the doctor that is in your name, is that medical doctor or just PhD?
Physical therapy.
Awesome. Oh, okay. That's good. I
Yeah.
actually just spoke to a physical therapist too. My last guest, she was a physical therapist. So
Yeah,
that's
we're right
good to
in
know.
place.
Yeah. So I know that you are one of the admins on the Express Igbo language group on Facebook. Can you tell us about what inspired that group?
Yeah. So I started after I got out of physical therapy school. It's something that I thought was necessary at the time. There. So initially, when I got out, I always wanted to speak the Igbo language, but I was also had difficulty with it because my parents didn't really teach me when I was younger. Um,
Yes.
so I wanted to get people to start speaking the Igbo language as far as having some type of organization that does it. I actually contacted Rosetta Stone initially back in 2014, but it didn't seem like they were interested in pursuing the Igbo language. So at that time, I decided to just take it upon myself to start doing the classes. So initially, the classes were like twice a week. We had a teacher, we had a location, and I wanted to be like a college setting class. Like, Ebos are smart. So you think about it, if we are able to learn astrophysics and all this other stuff, why can't we learn our own native tongue?
That's
Um,
true.
so
Yeah.
I tried to do it. I shouldn't say I tried to do it. We were successful. We expanded to different cities too, Houston and San Francisco. And then last year we also got into Howard University as well, where
Oh,
we taught the course. So we've been expanding and hopefully we'll continue to expand.
that's good to know. Well, for my listeners that don't know what Igbo language is a language, one of the language in Nigeria. Nigeria have three main language: Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. So Igbo is one of the main language out there, and they have other languages too. But we are from
Those are
Igbo
pretty
tribe, so
famous.
we speak Igbo language. That's what he's
Yeah,
talking about. Well,
yeah.
also in that group Express Igbo language, back in 2018, you started a fundraising that helps build an app or something. Tell us a little bit about that.
The refresh, which app are you referring to? Because we've took on a few projects.
Oh wow, the one that I heard is just about the fundraising in 2018 that helps promoting the Igbo language, like preserving and promoting Igbo language. And you guys were trying to build a mobile app and also come
Yeah,
up with some textbooks or something. Yeah.
yeah. So the textbook was successful. The mobile app was not. We didn't get enough funds for that. We um, we had our whole team and we had everything in place. It's just that we just didn't get the funds. One thing people do have to understand, like especially with like an organization like this, a lot of the time there's people that are volunteering their time, and then there's sometimes where we have to um, get professionals in what they're doing. Even like our teachers, we have to pay them. So yeah, we weren't able to get the funds to complete the app, but we did start our website where there was a lot of resources that you can use,
Yes.
and also the book. Like our book is, I can't remember the exact page, but it's over 200 something pages, um, where it's for based on people that can speak English and want to
Yeah.
learn the Igbo language. So we're pretty happy with that. It was a lot of hours, a lot of days, a lot of sleepless nights trying to get that done. So yeah, we're pretty happy with it.
Wow, that's awesome. I know you, this sounds really, serious, and I'm sure you're not probably the only one doing this. You probably have a group of team working with you to do this.
Yeah. So I was initially the president. I was the president for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And then my vice president took over. I'm on the advisory board. We've had we had a good team, and it's been really fun getting to know people and just, doing a lot of collaborations with a lot of other organizations. There's Igbo Girls Brunch that we feel like we've gotten cool with, One of the Namba, Umo Igbo Unite.
Yes.
So it's been great just getting to know other Igbo organizations. Another thing I do want to add is that our, I feel like for our class, we were the first ones to start doing it the way we were doing it in terms of teaching the class, having people like a professional settings.
Yes.
But ever since then, there has been a lot of other classes to pop up, and then trying to, I don't want to use the word mimic, but kind of using the same formula that we used. So I mean, it's great. It's good for. Well, the main thing was we want people to learn the language. I want a situation where one day we're not needed anymore because we all know the Igbo language, you know?
Yes.
So hopefully we've inspired people to start doing this, inspire people to start learning the language, and hopefully I want my kids to be able to speak fluently too. My
Yes.
future kids.
I know that's so true because I know coming to America, finding out that most people, like African parents, their kids in my age group or your age group don't know how to speak Igbo. So sometimes I don't want to put all the blame on the parents because sometimes they do try. In America, you have what some people do, two jobs or three jobs trying to make ends meet. So sometimes they can, let that one slide by for some reason. Is I don't necessarily want to put all the blame on them. Some of them would try, but at the end of the day, the kids have to make a choice. And not being surrounded by so many Igbo speaking people sometimes can also influence that because you guys were raised in America, and the mostly the English, the language that is spoken in America is usually English. So that's what mostly what the kids would know how to speak. So they tried their best, but sometimes some parents don't try at all. So,
Yeah,
but I get it.
I wouldn't even say, because I don't think that's a real excuse. Because if you look at
Okay,
especially the Spanish people, right? You look at them,
that's true.
it doesn't matter how many jobs they're working. Like they make it a point of emphasis to teach. For some reason, when our parents came here, there was a mass exodus out of Nigeria, say the 70s and 80s, where a lot of people came here to start a better life, and they felt like we needed to conform. A lot of them, I would say the Igbos don't do it as much as Yorubas, but like they want to make sure they have that English name. They want to make sure that their kids didn't speak. Even
Yes.
one of my aunties, like I was trying to speak a little Igbo to my nephew. She was like, "Oh, don't say that to him. He's gonna get confused." I'm like, "This is the time that you start speaking it. Like they're going to understand what's English, what's Igbo later on. Like I don't know. It's frustrating to me to see that that's still happening as of today, but it still is."
Yes, it is. And that to go into your point, what you said before, they always say they don't want to confuse the kids, but it's actually opposite of that. When kids know more than one language, it helps them also with their brain. With learning how to adapt, learn things quickly. Because I have no a classmate of mine. He spoke English, he spoke French and Spanish. That boy was so smart. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
like I envy him. I was like, I wish I could speak that many. And he also speak his own. He's from Togo because Togo speak French and some other language. So he speak like more, probably four languages. So he have Hispanic friends, he have French speaking friends, he have English, he have every kind of. That's a benefit. I'm telling you, it's
it is.
not going to confuse a child. It's a huge benefit for them.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, sometimes because I've heard people my age, they said this like when they were growing up, they when their child spoke, when their parents spoke Igbo to them, and they went to school and they probably spoke the Igbo language by accident, not knowing that not everyone can says that verbiage, but at the end of the day, that I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, I know people that spoke only Spanish, but because they got into the American system and we only spoke English, they
Yeah.
learned English by force, and then their Spanish parents couldn't speak English. So
Yeah.
things they're going to. My thing is they're going to learn English regardless. They are in
Regardless,
the
yeah.
States, so they're going to know English. My It's our job as the up and coming parent generation, I should say, is to speak this Igbo language to them, teach it to them, at least let them know the basics.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Well, okay, going back to still 2018, you seems like you have a lot going on in 2018 because you also got married to your gorgeous wife on 2018. So how is the married life going for you?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I met her in Nigeria actually, so
Oh, wow.
it was one of those things where, and that's another thing. A lot of people, I was one of those people like, oh, these people that have this quote unquote arranged marriage. Mine wasn't arranged, but it's one of those things like, why would you go overseas? Is there
Yes.
not somebody around here? But you just can't help who you fall in love with. So everything's been going good. She's been adjusting. Um, she's she's just getting everything she needs to do to become a full blown pharmacist, um,
Oh,
as
okay.
she did when she was in Nigeria. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I'm glad she's adjusting. We Igbo people, we adjust to everything you put us in. So I trust she will fully adjust in no time. So,
Amen.
I mean, well, let's go into the topic of today. So, topic of today is must a woman know how to cook? So, this topic was inspired by this popular quote in Twitter that was actually posted by Pastor Adeboye. For my listeners, Pastor Adebayo, he's from Nigeria and he's the general overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. He's 77 years old and he'll be starting 78 this month in March. So he decided in February to put out this 78 quotes of inspiration and advice on Twitter. And the one that actually bring a lot of buzz was quote number 19. This is what he said: my sons, don't marry a lady who cannot cook. She needs to know how to cook, to do chores, and cook because you cannot. Hold on. She needs to know how to cook, to do chores, and to cook because you cannot afford to be eating out all the time. Basically saying the guys, you have to make sure you marry a woman that know how to cook, so you won't be spending money eating outside. Basically. So what do you think about? What is your when you heard of? I don't know if you have heard about this quote before, but now reading it to you, what was your first impression about this?
I've heard, I've heard, I've heard of the pastor. It's a very popular church. I have nothing wrong with what he said. I mean, if you look deeper, he also said men or women don't get married to men that can't provide for their homes and don't have jobs. So it's not like it was one sided. But in terms of like, I think people get offended when we try to put woman in a box, which I
Yes.
don't feel like that's what he was trying to do. I personally don't like eating out all the time, not because I don't like food, because I love food and I love eating out, but I mean, look at the quote, what he said. I think
Yes.
it's better for you to have that person or persons that can cook. He didn't say, men, you don't need to know how to cook. He said, don't marry somebody that doesn't know how to cook. And I mean, I'm a little traditional in that sense. Not that I don't cook in my own household, I do, but in terms of Nigerian food, my wife is way better than me. So
Yeah.
um, I feel like everyone should enjoy that, and everyone should experience just having that loving home that you get excited that when your wife or your mom is cooking. So I have zero, absolute zero problem with what he said.
Oh, okay. So do you believe that, okay, let's say a woman that happens to be, she don't know how to cook, and the guy decided not to marry her. You think that's a good, I don't know. Do you think a woman should know how to cook before she even get into marriage? Or is this something like a requirement you have to have before a man even consider you for marriage?
That's a good question. I think so. For example, my sister is a good example of someone who didn't really know how to cook. When a guy came into her life, she decided that she should start, taking this cooking thing seriously. Honestly, I didn't even. So a little bit about myself. When my wife, like I told you, my wife came here, right? She had to go back to Nigeria for a little bit to complete one of her requirements for pharmacy. I had
Yes.
to learn how to cook, but like my wife showed me. She gave me some recipes. I learned how to cook egusi, okra soup. I didn't know how to cook stew and all that stuff. Like she taught me all that stuff. So I don't think it's something that they can't learn, you know. And same thing happened with my sister. Once a guy came in her life and she realized, okay, I'm going to be the wife and mother of this household. I need to learn how to cook. And now she's really good at it and she knows how to do a lot of recipes. So I'm not saying that should be the determining factor, but I think the women should pull their own weight just like the guy is. And let me say this though. Um, People get annoyed when we say we try to put roles on people,
Yes.
but it's never the reverse. If the guy was didn't somebody that didn't want to provide for his household and the woman was carrying the load in terms of financial responsibilities and things like that, you don't see a lot of people ever talk about that. You know, oh, if he said, for example, he said, "Oh, women don't get married to someone who can't provide and doesn't have a job." I don't see anyone having a problem with that statement. Am I correct?
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah. So it to me. I just feel like it's not it was not a bad statement. I think it was a statement that in our society now people are scared to say what it really is, you know, and that's life. That's what it really is. So if you want to get married, there's certain things you need to do. There's certain even men, for the example. I know some guys that were just living out of their parents' house. There's one particular one I'm thinking of, and I don't want to say his name, but he did not have a job. He had like a side gig that he does on the weekends. But once he found a girl that he really, really liked, he was like, okay, I got to get serious, you know?
That's
And
true.
he went out and he got a job, which he was not even really looking beforehand. So same goes to reverse. The woman, if she feels like she's about to get married, she better conform and learn how to do things. You got to learn how to cook and clean or whatever it is. The guy, same thing. You can't be leaving your dirty socks and things when you know you're about to be living with a woman. So it's one of the roles that people are scared and to talk about, but I think it's the truth and it's something that, yeah, I don't know. I probably sound archaic, but I don't
No,
really
you don't. I totally understand where you're coming from. And I know in today's society, women, we have become so sensitive. And this has to do because back in the days, how women were treated, you know. So these days, when you talk about gender roles, it seems like a very something negative, you know. Oh no, why you have to put me in a box? But sometimes it's not bad, you know, especially when you are coming, when each person, like one person, you and your husband is coming in to be one, there's things to give, you know. You have to help out on this case, this person have to help out on this, and every marriage is different. I don't think the gender role is necessarily bad, because we all have it whether we like it or not. A woman is the only one that will carry the pregnancy and birth the child, and the man will, they have so many gender roles. It's not all of them that is necessarily bad, you know. And I don't think we should be so easy necessary, how would I put this? I don't think we should be too sensitive in that area. And what the pastor said, for me, I guess you saying that there's some other things he said, like he basically gave me a different perspective, how he mentioned the man should also provide. Like I'm a huge advocate. If a guy wants to get married, he needs to make sure he got his stuff right, basically.
hmm
You don't want to just get in and then have all this, tell the girl, I don't know how we're going to survive. You need to have some, at least
Right,
have some potential. You don't have to have the whole money in this world. Have something you are doing. Don't just
right,
expect the girl, she's working and you marry her with no job and then expect her to carry everything. No, that's laziness. Nobody should, even a woman, you shouldn't come in expecting the guy to be your everything, to provide everything. I think you should also fight for yourself too, both financial and everything. So
and
I do, go ahead.
it's funny, like the girls nowadays. Like I'm on a lot of these chats, and when I was single and I was hearing all these like talks, and I would listen to them about girls would say, "Oh, I want to need the man needs to cook, the man needs to clean for me when I come home, and all this kind of stuff. He needs to come and massage my feet and things like that," which is
Yes.
cool. But in reality, I mean, relationships are give and take, right?
Yes.
You can't just expect one person to do everything and the other person to do the other thing. It's a cohesive relationship. For example, I was watching the Hulu special on Hillary Clinton, and she made a comment about because she was a very prominent lawyer that was making she was making way more money than her husband at the time. Um, and she made a comment about, oh, do you guys just want me to be at home baking cookies and serving tea? And I mean, it became an outstorm of people with rage. Of, oh, how can she say something like that? I didn't even take it like that when she said it. She was just pretty much saying like, yeah, she can do other things other than just sitting at home and cooking and cleaning, which is not bad. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with stay at home moms. They're stay at home dads now. It just
Yes.
depends on what exactly your dynamic in the household is. But
Hmm.
I mean, if you're saying you can't cook anything, I mean it's embarrassing and shameful, to be honest with you. Just
That's
my
true.
opinion.
That's
Yeah.
true. Well, let me read some of the reaction on people's Twitter. On Twitter, what people reacted to this quote. There's this one that I really found really funny, and this guy is actually from IO FBI. This is what he said. He said, Pastor Adebayo speak his truth according to the Bible. If you are pressed about those things, then you should channel your grievances towards the Bible. Simple. I don't know if they necessarily say that. I don't recall anywhere in the Bible that specifically say it's only a woman should know how to cook. But you also have to. He talks about how the woman is the one that nurture all those things, right? But I don't think. I think sometimes we Africans sometimes mix tradition or culture with religion. We do that a lot, and everybody have their own different cultures. And I don't know, I don't really agree that he's just saying what is in the Bible. Do you
Yeah,
agree?
yeah, he's off with that
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah.
There's to me, okay, for example, right? I grew up majority of the time in the U.S. and um, people have a negative connotation towards hearing the word submissive. And
Yes.
when I went to Nigeria, I had to meet my wife's pastor, and he was trying to tell me I'm the head of the household and my woman's supposed to be submissive, which kind of like it rubbed me the wrong way at first. And then he went on to explain how God is the head of the household,
Mm-hmm.
the man is the head, and the woman um, is supposed to follow the man's lead, which again didn't understand. He brought out Bible verses that kind of supported that. Um, there is Bible verses, but there's nothing specifically about cooking. Okay. And it
Yes.
doesn't mean submissive doesn't mean that I say jump, she says how high.
Yes.
It just pretty much means that we're working in the same accord, following what the Lord is saying, right?
Yes. Yes.
Things do go through the man, but it doesn't mean every decision has gone through the man. My wife, luckily, I mean, I've had a good relationship, and we're not having like any cultural clashes when it comes to that type of thing. But it's one of the things where cooking was never an issue. Cooking is should never be an issue. Like
Yes. There's
as
so
far as
many
both of
other
us, I
issues.
do it. Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear you.
No, actually, there's so many other serious issues that we should be focusing in marriage. Cooking is the least of the problem.
Exactly. Exactly. And especially, even if you don't like cooking, and the good thing about being in the US is we have a thing called a refrigerator. So you can
Yes.
cook a big portion, you can even freeze some of it, and then put some of it in the refrigerator and then serve it throughout the week. So you don't have to cook all the time. Um, and that's how we survive, honestly.
That's what I do in my household too.
You have
And you have to do that. There's something called microwave too. The guy can warm it up and eat, and the girl can come in. Because when you're working, sometimes you guys will have a different schedule. Whoever comes in, you grab food, warm it up, eat. You just have
yeah.
to survive, basically.
And I don't want to embarrass my wife, but her mom is someone who cooks every like her dad doesn't like anything that's not fresh. So they live in Nigeria. So she
Wow.
cooks all the time, or her sisters or something will cook for the dad. But I'm like, it baffles me, like how do they even have the energy for that? You
That's
know,
oh
because to me, being in the kitchen, like I'm tired. Like, and to think of going in there 2 3 times a day, like it's baffling. Like she's a strong woman, and kudos to her, but I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either. I don't know how they survived, but I guess that's why I wasn't born in that generation. Because I would not survive. But yeah, thank you so much. This it was really an I learned a lot. But to summarize this whole topic, I would say, from my own opinion, I would say that cooking skills, knowing how to cook, should be everybody's business in a way. Should a woman should know how to cook, a man should know how to cook for survivor purposes. Because sometimes your wife, if she's the only one cooking, your wife can be sick, or let's say if she gave birth or something. When people are pregnant, some people have so many issues, you don't know what is going to be on your case. But so that when she's sick or when she travel, you can also know how to put something together. You don't have to be the best cook in this world. Put something together so you can survive. I don't know. I don't think you should put it up on one person. A woman, you shouldn't think, oh, because I'm a woman now these days, this new generation, it's not necessary for me to know how to cook. I think it's necessary for you to know how to cook. For the guy too, I think it's necessary for you to know how to cook, because things are changing. We don't always have to depend on one person to survive in this world. But that's
Yeah.
just my own opinion on it.
And just like you said, if you're the person sick, you're Ebo, so we take pepper soup during that situation. And my wife
Yes.
she taught me how to make pepper soup, so it's like one of those things where I'm ready if she's sick, pregnant, whatever it is. I'm ready to take on that, put on my apron and get in there.
That's good to know. Well, let's just we have come to the end of this discussion. So now let's breathe and relax and play a game. So today's game of the day would be song association. So this is how this game goes. I will give you random words, and then you have to sing a song that has that word in it, and you have to do that in 10 seconds, and then you do the same to me too. So we'll see who have the highest point.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Uh, good. I'm just nervous.
I know, me too, because I don't know what words you're gonna say. But let me go first. All right, the word that I will give you is this one easy one. It's called darling, like Darling.
Darling.
Yes,
So I gotta sing something that has darling in it.
yes, and it has
Oh
to
my
be a real song.
darling. Oh my darling.
I'm sorry. What is it? Sing that again.
Oh my darling. Oh my darling.
So who sing that song?
What is
It
his
sounds
name?
like a real song too.
It's a
I think
it's
I've
no, it
heard
is.
it.
It's a Niger Jam. I'm trying to think of
Well, if
ah
it's a real song, so we count that 1 point for you. All right, give me your own word.
um left.
Oh, to the left, to the left.
Yeah.
Is that how to say? Yeah, Beyonce song. Yeah, that was
Mm,
easy. Okay. The next one I would say would be million.
million.
Yes.
A milli.
That's not the full word. Is that what a million means? Is that a million?
Well, he was trying to say a million. Yeah,
So who
right.
sang that song?
That's Lil Wayne.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. So you get 2 point, I get 1 point. So give me another word.
Um, Chineke.
Oh, okay. Chineke, like Chineke means God in Igbo. Okay, Chineke. There's so many songs. Ah, God.
Do a pop culture one though.
Okay. Uh,
No high life.
no, I have to be. Oh, okay, hold on. Why can nothing come to my head? All I can think of is like a.
10 seconds up.
Okay, okay, okay. So I
I
have
would think you'll say like
one.
the Fada Fada one. Chineke no mego kono
Oh
mene.
yeah, you're right. I would think of Father Whistle because Chineke, because he said a lot of father in that song.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got one, you got two. Let me give you another one. Let me give you something hard. I would say the word dream.
Dream.
Yes.
Ah, dream.
One,
Dream.
three, 5, 6.
Which now my Google is not working that fast.
You're not supposed to use Google. That's cheating.
I'm joking.
8, 9, 10. And you lost on that one.
Yeah, what's a song with Dream?
Um, I don't even know.
How you gonna
I
give me
don't even know.
Dream and you don't even know?
That's for you to figure out, not me.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
give me another one.
Bed.
Like bed that you sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Bed. Uh, lay your head in bed. I don't even know. That's not even a song.
You just made that up.
That's not a song. That's to be a song like that. Lay your head. Okay. How many seconds do I still have? Okay. Lay.
4.
Okay. Lay down.
Eh,
Okay.
I want your body sleeping in my bed.
Oh, that who sang that song? It was a Nigerian song, right?
Yeah, Kid.
Yeah, I didn't like that song. That's one of his songs I didn't like.
Yeah.
I think he was just, I don't know, he didn't know what else to sing about. Okay, the word I will give you is gonna be an Igbo word. So it will be golibe. It should be easy.
Golibe.
Yes.
That one I don't know.
It's a famous, even the title of the song that I can think of right now is actually named Golibe by a famous person.
Hmm.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's the zero.
I don't
It's by
think I know that song.
no, it's by Flavor. Golibe, your mama born you well. Remember that song? Golibo yo yo. Yeah, it's by Flavor.
Oh,
Yes, yes,
I do know the song.
yes. That's the
I have to
song.
search it. Dang.
Okay, give me another one.
Okay. Um, Fast.
Um, um, fast. What word? That song that has fast in it. Oh Lord, fast.
4 seconds.
Hold on, hold on. Oh God.
Eh,
Oh. Okay. What song is that? What song would have fast in it?
you know what's funny? I don't even know.
You just basically just
I just
think of.
thought of the first word that came into my head.
So how many words have you given me so far? Did you even count it? I think it's one, two,
At
5
least three
already.
or four. Oh, is
Okay.
it 5?
Okay. Let me give you a last one. I would say it's gonna be an easy one. Woman.
Woman.
Yes. Okay.
Wow,
One,
this is okay.
2, 3, 4,
I know one
5,
gospel one, but I don't know the name
6,
of the song. Woman, you sound foolish. But okay.
8, 9, 10.
I like women. Yes, I do.
Who sang that song? You just make that up.
Chukuma.
Nah, that's not a song. Well, actually, you won because you have 2 point and I have only one. So
Wow, we're really bad at this.
yes, we're terrible at it. Like I don't know, because you have to think of a word that has the song in it. A song that has that word in it. That's hard.
What,
That's
woman?
just hard. Yeah, for me, the one I thought about for woman is my woman, my everything.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know. I think it's
You know
from
what's funny? I would say
Patoranking.
majority of these Niger songs have women in it, but I just couldn't think of the line.
Yeah. It's a lot of them that have woman in it, but
Or some form of woman. That's why I was like,
yeah.
I just couldn't think of anything.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. So thank you so much. But before I let you go, do you have anything coming up, any events that or business that you want to promote?
Um, we do have things coming up, but I don't want to promote it yet because it's still in the works. So
Okay.
yeah, but it will be coming out. You can follow us on express.ebo on Instagram. or you can go on Facebook and then search Express Ebo. We have a page and a group, um, or go on our website, expressebo.com.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that group is always popping actually. I
Yeah,
like going to that group. I like going there, and it's have over 1,000 for members. So you guys should definitely go check it out, especially if you are interested in learning how to speak Igbo language.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chukuma, for being here, for joining me on this episode. I totally had fun, and